Hello guys, fellow sports enthusiasts. Welcome to Effortless Crib Super Mind-blowing interactive section. This is actually our first ever sit-down video and I'm feeling super excited about it. How about you?
Well, I'm feeling great. I'm excited to be here and I'm excited to have the viewers on as well.
Okay. I'm your host and I go by the name Young Chief. With me is my brother, my suicide. We've come way back and he goes by the name
Edison Graham. All right, guys, we'll be dissecting the Premier League or the past action. But before that, I want to apologize for the delay because this has been a much anticipated first video where we give you back-to-back actions. But right about now, we're going to look down into all the past week action for the week 1 to week 3 before we resume. But before that, very importantly, I would like to know, okay, I know the Premier League has started already, but I still want to know, like, what do you think? Who do you think is going to be your top 3 for the season?
My top 3. I'll give it to Man City. They've come up with a beautiful campaign.
Okay.
I'll give it to Newcastle.
Second?
Yeah, Newcastle second. Then third, I'll give it to Chelsea.
Add one more for the last spot.
That will be between the Gunners and United. So let me give it to United.
Wow. All right. And who do you think will be going back to the relegation?
I think Everton missed it last season, so I'll also put them in the spot.
All right.
Then Luton. I don't think, this is actually their first Premier League, so I think they lack the experience and they have a lot to learn from this thing. Then the third but not the least, I'll give it to Burnley.
Okay.
What about you?
I see Man City taking this league again because, like, I just see them. I don't see anybody being at their level yet, so I'll go for Man City. Then second place, Liverpool. I don't know why, but I'm seeing them there. Liverpool. Then third place, Arsenal. Then fourth place, Chelsea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you not impressed with the Newcastle lads?
Nah, I'm impressed, but like I said, we'll see what the season holds. But I do think that is my top 4.
What about your bottom 3?
Okay, I think Everton has, like, I don't see them coming up with something that will keep them in the Premier League. But we shall see as the season progresses. And Luton, I also see them going back. And my third will have to be Sheffield Wednesday. I see them going back as well. So Luton, Sheffield, and Everton. Yeah.
Okay.
So right about that, let's just quickly round up our week 1 to week 3 analysis so we can kick off right now. All right, let's take a look at our game week 1 results. We saw Burnley take on Man City.
Yeah, the defending champion trap over Burnley at Toughmore. It was a 3-0 win for the defending champion. Haaland scoring 2 goals with Rodri finishing the scoring. It was a brilliant game for them.
I think it was very easy. Nobody expected Man City to go and lose, even though it was at Toughmore. Yes. So I think it was a very easy victory.
Especially for the first game of the season.
Yeah. But we saw Anazaru take a late red card. I think that was very unnecessary.
It was uncalled for. It was 90 minutes to the end of the game. That just kept his cool, It has ended well for the both parties. Now we'll be missing 2 games.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for him. All right, after that Man City, Burnley, we look at Arsenal take on Nottingham Forest at the Emirates Stadium.
Saka and Nketiah, those 2 guys, man, they're killing it back to back.
It was very lovely all around from Arsenal, but Taiwo Awoniyi with a lead goal, but it was not enough for Nottingham Forest to get a point.
That guy is a top notch. He tried it, like he said, it wasn't enough for them. They would have kept on.
Yeah, but it's like I think this will be the season where he actually gets to show his real qualities. The last season was a debut for him in the Premier League, but now he gets a chance to show his real quality.
And he's even interested to play the game more and more often.
Of course, his quality all around. So that was it was also a wonderful play from Martinelli as well. He did not get on the score sheet, but we saw that lovely assist where he gave to Nketiah. Yeah. So never to forget that as well.
All ended draw between the Cherries and West Ham.
Yeah, Bournemouth, West Ham, a 1-1 draw. What do you take on the points for?
I think David Moyes' boys were prepared and they brought a good game.
We saw a goal from Dominic Solanke and one from Bowen that just equaled the goal on the 1-1. But I thought it was a fairly even game between the two sides. Very credit to both sides. I think it was a well-deserved draw for the both teams.
What's your take on Luton? You know, Brighton bullied the newly promoted Luton side.
We like last season, Brighton was a phenomenon. Like we did not see them get to like a major. Like for me, it was a major spot they got to. But this season, we are seeing them playing like one of the best kind of football we've watched. Like very comfortable playing from the back, and now they are drilling the side. We saw them get a 4-1 victory. I know Luton are newly promoted, but coming from the Championship, you know you want to be in the Premier League, so it was still a very convincing victory from Brighton. So we saw the goals. So where are the goals coming from?
They signed Brighton player Joao Pedro wearing the number 9. Marsh also his own goal. Estopinia, that guy.
Lovely left back. I think Brighton is always getting the perfect replacement for each of their transfer.
Yeah. Then also Simon Nari, how do they pronounce that?
Well, we have to check at the end of this, but I think that was wonderful. That was wonderful for Brighton getting 4 goals in that match.
Okay, and it was also a single goal from Joao Morris from the Luton side.
Yeah.
Coming out from relegation, seeing a goal at the opening season. It will boost them and also the fans. It's not easy, at least. Like I told you, they have a lot to learn from the Premier League side.
But getting an opening goal on their first game of the season against a Brighton side that was really good against some of the bigger teams last season, I think is a plus to Luton. What do you think?
Oh, it's a plus to them and also a loss to them. Everton take on Fulham as our 5th game for game week 1.
So the Toffees lose their toughness against this Fulham side. They Cordova scoring the only goal of the game. And it's very important considering the fact that they have lost their best striker, Mitrovic. But it's also a very good 3 point for them, away victory. Then the next match we saw Sheffield United take on Crystal Palace.
Yeah, Austin Edwards secured an away victory for Crystal Palace as they visit Sheffield United.
Another important away victory for them. You know, it's never easy playing all these away games in the Premier League, but Crystal Palace did well. What a wonderful assist by Jordan. And you want to play her down the wing. Very important. And then our next feature, we saw Newcastle trash the living daylight out of Aston Villa.
You saw that super goal from Tonali, the Italian, Callum Wilson, Barnes, and 2 from Isak. Man, Newcastle is on fire.
That was like the fun part was having all like different goal scorer with their striker getting a brace. But we can never still outlook Musa Diaby getting his own goal as well. You know, it cost a lot for Aston Villa to get him to their side, considering the fact that Saudi clubs were also going for him. But it was a very fun match to watch. Although it was a one-side game though.
Too bad his goal could not lift the Aston Villa spirit up, scoring 3 goals and all that.
But it was a good game.
I had to put Newcastle in my top 4 also, seeing the way they played pre-season, also seeing their transfer list. I see them going up there.
Well, the season is still very long, so we'll see how it goes.
All right. We saw Maddison impress on Spurs' debut against Brentford.
It was an away performance, but I think it was phenomenal. The only sad part about that match was they could not get a win, but kudos to Brentford at their home. They played phenomenal, so it was a 2-2 game.
Yeah, a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, we saw goals from
Romeo and Emerson.
Yeah, that was very well taken goal. While from Brentford side, we also saw goals from
Mbeumo and Wissa.
That fantastic attack, considering the fact that Ivan Toney cannot play in this season right now. Those 2 stepping up.
And there's a fact about this Brentford side. Without the striker, this team has managed to come up with numbers of goals. Last season, they've come up with 9 goals in total, with Mbeumo scoring 6 of it and Wissa scoring 4 of it also. So these 2 boys, they've managed to, you know, put their games together, even in the absence of their striker.
And that's what we want to see in a team is like people stepping up, especially when the attacker is unavailable. So after that match, we saw another interesting game. Your team, you're wearing their color. You say blue is the name. How did your logo go? Blue is the name, blue is the color, and all that.
Chelsea.
But you could not get a season opener against Liverpool. So what do you have to say about that?
That was unlucky for the lads. They played, they tried, coming out of the preseason. And the thing that annoyed me in the match was the change of formation. You played preseason with 4 men at the back, and you're starting the season with 3 men at the back. Come on, who does that?
But kudos to Diasisi. Like, he cancelled out Luis Diaz opener, but we never saw him in preseason. And for the manager to have that much faith in him and change your system based on bringing out a player that is bringing Diasisi to the team and then getting him straight into that starting lineup. But
and also scoring a goal.
He also got a goal. So do you think, okay, like, Chelsea should play the 3 or they should stick back to what they did in preseason?
I think preseason, we both watched it, they played a lovely ball. With this whole new system there, is giving them a hard time. Well, let's just see what they'll do against West Ham.
Sure, I know if you want to talk about Chelsea, you are ready to talk about Chelsea for 1 hour. So because of that, we are going to go to our last game. Our last feature of our game week 1, we saw Man take on Wolves. That was a very, very crucial match. So what's your take on that?
I saw Wan-Bissaka giving a beautiful assist to Varane. He used his head like two defenders.
Yeah, that was lovely combination, but that was not quite the highlight of the match. The highlight of the match was the Onana incident. So what do you think, penalty or no penalty?
Onana incident all day long, that is a penalty. I wish someone come and book me for that also. It's a penalty, and he has a very high spirit, but he should calm down. Coming to the Premier League is full of excitement, always rushing out of the post. And as of then, when Rooney was still playing, I believe Rooney can tip $1 million over.
We saw one got over him in preseason.
Yeah.
So, another important fact, like, what do you think of Manchester United treatment of De Gea? Like, player that has played so long, was actually like a club legend, considering after Van der Sar, like, he's the closest thing to like the best keeper they've had over the years. But looking at him leave for a free transfer, or they just terminated the contract, something like that.
That's the politics of football, my man. Moving on to game week 2, we see Nottingham Forest take on Sheffield United.
Taiwan won back again for game week 2. Yeah, that was a wonderful goal from him and Wood to end Nottingham Forest the win. But Ham also did good to like get Sheffield United a 1 goal. So that was a well played game.
And that was actually Nottingham Forest's first win of the season.
Very important. So, last season at the dying minute they had to like struggle to like remain in Premier League. So it's good they have their first win early. Alright, for our second feature, we saw Fulham and Brentford.
It was an away victory for Brentford, a 3-0 victory, and Ibuembo and Wissa. Just like I told you in the last game, without the striker, these both pairs are cooking was no good.
Very important victory. We saw Bueno with a brace and Wissa with 1 goal. Like, that was top-notch quality from them. And we saw Tim Rim get a red card. That was for Fulham United. But all the same, it was a very convincing victory for Brentford.
All right, let's move to Liverpool and
Bournemouth. That was like the attackers were phenomenal in that game. We saw goal from Jota, from Salah, and Luis Diaz. That like they had to come back from 1 goal by Semenyo.
That's the beautiful thing about Liverpool. Always pushing, even when the whole world is against them, they keep pushing and knocking.
Don't forget about the red card by McAllister. But the match ban subsequently has been overturned after match overview of the whole incident. So McAllister will not be serving match ban after the fish.
What's your take on this new Premier League card? Like, I see the referee easily giving out cards, yellow card, red card, sometimes even without going through the VAR road or just issue card.
We saw our Odweb take over as the new Premier League head of officiating in the year. So it's like there have been a lot of changes in the rule, like overcrowding gets you a yellow card. If you're insisting, like after receiving a tackle, that your opponent should get a yellow card, they can give you a yellow card for that.
Not to forget time wasting too.
Time wasting also. So there are like a lot of changes, and I think it's high time the players start adapting so they don't miss crucial games. So that was very important. So up next, after that match, we saw Brighton once again with another correct score. I think we should be taking correct score after this rundown of week 1 to week 3. We should be taking correct score and getting our right prediction.
Yeah, we saw a beautiful goal from Mitoma, Estopinion, and brace from Match. It was a very beautiful and fantastic play the Brighton lads came up with.
Yeah, that was a very important victory, and it was same as their last one against Luton.
Yeah. I recall a 90 minutes red card for Wolf after Nunes.
And don't forget the goal by Young-Win Chan, making the scoreline a 4-1. Okay, our next feature goes to the Man City having a victory against Newcastle United. It was a 1-0. Julian Alvarez.
Blank from Haaland. What do you have to say about that?
I'm sorry for the FPL takers on Haaland. I'm really sorry he went blank that game week.
Alright fans, don't forget you can also sign up for FPL and win up fantastic prizes. Rampant Aston Villa put 4 past Everton.
It was a very impressive display. We saw goals from John McGinn, Douglas Luiz and Bailey. So it was very impressive. Like, they got 4 past them. There was nothing they could do. Everton has not been impressive in these their last few outings. So up to our next game, we saw your boys once again take on West Ham. It was at West Ham home, to be fair. So even though you lost, it was disgraceful to a 10-man West Ham team.
You go explain tire. No evidence.
No evidence. Wow, that was crazy.
That was disgraceful coming from Chelsea.
We also saw Caicedo, they ended up with him giving a penalty. That was.
I felt the pressure on him was too much. Pochettino should have just left him for the next match. We are already losing.
Yeah, bringing a defensive player. No.
That,
Well, we saw Arsenal with a 1-0 victory over Crystal Palace with Odegaard with the only match. It was a penalty kick.
Yeah, the young lads were pushing and I was happy for them that they could get it. So right now it's a 2 wins for them, 2 games, 2 wins for them. And also Tomi also was sent off for 2 booking, 2 yellow cards. That was really sad. The first one was obviously for no just reason. The second one too was just a little touch.
But most times all these referees, they explain their decision at the end of the game. Maybe we'll look at a proper review at how that.
I didn't mean the referee handed him a red card. The VAR would have called him back and said no, that was not that serious. But since it was a second yellow card, just had to go off.
That's. All right, that's been covered for our game week 2. We are looking at our last game week, our game week 3 results. All right, finally, our final game week. So we saw Chelsea take on Luton. Finally, I got the win.
Not myself. Put it out there. Are you a Chelsea fan or not?
You can see the color. Blue is the color. So I'm always on the blue. I'm a Chelsea fan, for real, but I'm being skeptical, after the last season we had. So I was happy we got the victory. So what do you have to say? What do you have to say about that performance?
Man, the performance was good. Me, myself, I told myself that if Chelsea will lose this match, I will cross over to Newcastle, yeah. But it was good seeing the boys played beautiful.
Yeah, what do you think of Ramsey? Because in that match, it was phenomenal.
Scoring 2 goals and also giving a beautiful assist to Nicolas Jackson. And also the previous match before them with the West Ham, although they recorded a loss against them. But
he also won a penalty in that match.
Yeah, Sterling was the key player for Chelsea in that match. And also for the Luton side, although the Luton, they lack experience and all that, I'll say the truth. But Sterling is step up to his game and
like I said, if we keep on Chelsea match, we can see Young Chief take us to 1 hour of this time. So we are going to move on to our next feature of Tottenham. We have the comfortable victory against Bournemouth.
Yeah, Maddison and Kulibesi.
Well, just hold on a minute. Let's talk about Maddison. I think it will be like the transfer of this season because for a £40 million for a player of his quality at Leicester, that's like one of the biggest bargain deals. We see Arsenal going to get Havertz for over 70 million from Chelsea. Mount also going to. But But Madison, look at the price. It comes cheaper than all these players, and you see what he's already doing at the start of the Premier League.
It's a very beautiful player. He can assist. In fact, his job is to assist. Then
Score like
A beautiful player.
it's very wonderful to always.
we saw Gunners Arsenal held by 10 men Fulham. We saw goals from Ketia and Saka. And Ketia, a beautiful player, and also Pereira and Paulinho for Fulham. What do you have to say about that?
This was the problem we saw at Arsenal last season, and we thought they brought in Declan Rice and Julian Timber to fix this injury. Sad for Timber to be out injured, but Declan Rice is still in the team. We saw them winning 2-1. They already are there. The opponent has a red card, and we saw Paulinho coming off the bench to give Fulham a 2-2 draw.
Yeah.
What do you have to say?
Well, I really have nothing to say concerning that. Well, the both team, they really played very good football.
So, are we looking at a repeat of what happened last season when they could not hold on to their lead, or like what do you think is it? Yeah, what do you think is the problem?
For the Gunners, I just think they need to get 1 or 2 strikers.
You don't think it's a defensive problem?
Well, on second thought, it's definitely a defensive problem, because you holding on to a 1-0, what makes you a champion or good at football is whereby you are up 1-0 and you hold on to that position. That's if you are not looking for more goals, you have to hold up the defensive line, the midfield, and such a way the opponents won't penetrate. And
I think right now that is where you can draw a conclusion between the quality of City and Arsenal. We see City like playing attacking football, but they also know how to hold on to that 1-0 victory. They did it in Champions League final. We saw their game where Alvarez scored the only goal of the match. They held on to the game. But Arsenal, like, if it's not more than 1 goal, we see them coming scrappy, like
struggling, but they keep pushing. That's just a good part of the young lad.
That's it, and all good. We saw a 1-1 draw for Brentford and Crystal Palace.
Yeah, Brentford, Kevin Shard for them, and Anderson for Crystal Palace.
I think it was a neutral game, to be fair. Both sides had their chances.
Alright, we saw Wolves take on Everton with a 1-0 away victory by Sasa in the 87th minute.
No, that's Wolves' first EPL victory in this new season.
And then Everton 3rd defeat. Remember earlier we said we all thought Everton was going to the relegation.
Because they escaped the last one.
And the results is just going accordingly. But that's all fair and good. Then our next feature, we saw Manchester United take on Nottingham.
What's your take on that? Because I know Manchester was pushing, and that match was the derby. What's your take on that?
It's not like one of the hardest things to do in the Premier League is coming back. And coming back from 2-0 against a Forest side that you have seen them take on Arsenal, and they scored a late goal. We saw them won their last game with Awoniyi and Henderson. But now this match, they were already 2-0 up, and Manchester had to play good. Like, I think the Manchester fans would have really loved the moment, because like they come back from a 2 goals down. We saw goals from Eriksen, we saw goals from Bruno Fernandes, and we saw from Casemiro, all midfield goals. So what do you think? Where are the attackers of Man United this season? The wingers, the attackers?
I just feel Rashford should step up his game. Sancho, the same thing for him. Then Anthony should also be that ball-to-ball player, create beautiful assists for Rashford.
I don't think he has lived up to the price tag they got him for.
No, it's football. Anything can happen.
All right, we shall see how it goes.
All right, we saw Awoniyi and Burnley score for Nottingham Forest as they take on Manchester United. It ended 3-2. Brighton takes on West Ham.
Yeah, like we all know how good like Brighton are nowadays, but we saw the totally suppressed. We saw goals from Owen, Antonio, and Ward-Prowse, and we also saw Brighton getting a goal from Pascal, which was a beautiful hit ball. We all know what the result was going to be.
It was a beautiful one.
All right, we saw Burnley take on Aston Villa.
Aston Villa secured the win against Burnley. We saw two goals from Matty Cash and Derby, and Foster for Burnley. That was a beautiful match. What's your take on that?
Well, the honest thing is that Burnley have still not gotten a victory this season, and it's already 3 games already. And this is what, like the team now fall back on this, and they are unable to stand up and grind. But I wish them all the best. The season is just starting, so they could turn up, And I just feel bad for Vincent Company being the champions of the championship. Now coming here is now struggling all over again.
Aston Villa is coping up this season.
Like apart from the match they lost to Newcastle, that 5-1 match.
It was expected from them.
Yeah, but I think the other games they have like come out of that their shell and they are playing good football.
All right.
Next on, Sheffield United take on Manchester City.
That was a beautiful match from City. In Haaland with a beautiful header after missing out a penalty. I know everybody was shocked with that and everything. Then Jede Borg, he stepped up for Sheffield United. But they couldn't hold on their point for so long before Rodri. Beautiful goal. He stole the win from them. Erling Haaland, Rodri, those two fascinating. I know how devastating the Sheffield United fans will be, but that's football. That's the fun about it.
I think these new teams that just get promoted, they're overly excited. You have a equalizer against City. Calm down. They are still the champions. They are Manchester City.
And there's a significant thing, you know, Guardiola was not on the touchline.
Yeah, that was also very, very important. You know, if he was there, he would have done a few changes that could have taken that game by the storm earlier. But very unlucky for the Sheffield side.
All right. The last game we saw Newcastle take on Liverpool.
That was what a match that was. Anthony Gordon with the early goal. Van Dijk is set up. It was looking like a straight up Newcastle win, and it would have been a very emphatic victory. We all know that although Newcastle tried brilliantly last season, Liverpool got the better of them home and away. Yeah. So now this match, like the whole Newcastle fans were buzzing and everything, and it looked like the game was theirs.
You could even see it from the stadium.
Do you know there was only a selected bus of Liverpool fans? The whole stadium was crowded with Newcastle fans. Crazy. But what did we see? That spectacular talent coming up from the bench. So much criticism over the last season, but he came with a two beautiful brace. Similar goals, similar position.
And Liverpool were down to 10 men.
Yeah, Van Dijk early going off. Gordon missing that. Gordon had to hit the bar. And you know, Premier League, you don't take your chances. The other team might just step up. So it was wonderful. So that is the end of our rushed hour of Game Week 1 to Week 3. We hope we don't have to like speed it all over like this again. We will look at taking you the Game Week fixtures week by week. We dissect and give you all the analysis and who is at the top of the table. But while we have done this here, we'll still give you a view at what the table looks like. You're seeing all your top side. Yeah, and you can also see your bottom sides. So it's always nice to know. So how do you see your team doing in 10th place now?
Well, the ladder is still there. They are climbing, they are pushing. I see them finishing in the top 4. You know, there's no distraction. Yeah, and tomorrow they have a cup coming up, Carabao Cup or so. Yeah. So I wish them all the best, and I know we have lots and lots to dissect and talk about.
Yeah, we also have to give a point of reference to Howie. We have seen him officiate a few games, but not as the official referee, mostly on the linesman. I still can't wait to like see him officiate an actual game.
And I know some people are asking who this guy is. This guy is the first Premier League black referee in the last 15 years.
Yeah, that is a notable achievement. We see black players all around the field, but we hardly see like black people in the terms of management sector, in terms of coaching sector. Patrick Vieira was there, but look, he's gone. He's gone to Strasbourg now. And not enough black owners, not enough black referees. So it's very engaging now. Let's see how many more can turn up for this officiating position.
All right, that wraps up our first thrilling episode of Effortless Crib Sports Network. I hope you guys had a great time just as we did. Till next time, stay adventurous and remain positive. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. I remain your humble host, Young Chief, and with me, my brother and co-host,
Edison Graham,
signing out.